Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm now supposed to speak about energy efficiency policy in Germany, and I think it's true to say that it's a very exciting time for energy policy in Germany. You've heard maybe that last week there was a very important election where Chancellor Merkel got very much under pressure due to her energy policy, and she has now to show that she has alternatives with respect to renewable energy, with respect to energy efficiency. And I'm not joking when I said I received an email last week that was sent to a couple of experts in Germany, saying we have €1 billion extra for energy efficiency. Please send us any ideas until end of March. And so you're happy to contribute any ideas. I will take yours, Bo, as one of the ideas for the next efficiency action in Germany. Now, we do already have quite an ambitious, it's called energy concept in Germany. We have targets for the different fields of energy action. Just take as one example the field of energy efficiency in the building sector. There we have the target of decreasing our heat demand by 20% within 10 years. And by 80% until the year 2050. And I think it's not only sort of a very ambitious target, it's also a very long-term target. And that's one of the messages we've learned in the last year in German energy policy, that you really have to backcast, that you have to have a long-term goal, and then you have to look what you have to do today. If you think of a building, for instance, that is to be retrofitted, what you do today will determine the energy level of the next 30, 40 years. So we are really thinking about long-term goals and how to implement them into current policy today. And why do we do that? It's not only the fact that we have to think long-term, there are also very concrete reasons behind that. Of course, we as Germany are very import dependent. More than 70% of our energy carriers come from other countries. We also have quite a strong price volatility. The prices have gone up quite a bit in Germany and also all over Europe. So energy efficiency is a means to make independent from these price increases. Of course, climate protection, and in Germany also the nuclear phase-out is an issue. So to become independent of fossil nuclear energy production is one of the targets for energy efficiency. But not only that, it's also a very economic thinking behind that. On the one hand, we have quite a number of new jobs of regional value creation in Germany. And just to give you a few examples, energy efficiency is not just about putting a thick layer of plastics in front of your building. We have a lot of technology developments from energy efficient appliances over solid state lighting, communication technologies, but also thinking of retrofitting measures. Like there are a couple of companies that are developing, you can see that down there, precast facade elements where they measure your building first with computer measures, and then they make in the fabric, in the factory, they pre-produce your insulation, and it's a matter of half an hour to put the insulation in front of the wall. So it's a matter of developing new ideas, new technologies, but also new services. And actually there are quite a number of companies, the energy utilities on the one hand, that are very interested in offering services, third-party financing, but also counseling, consultancy. I mean, with respect to energy efficiency. So there is a growing market of energy services that actually leads to quite a number of new jobs. We've calculated that using an energy economic model, and by these factors of more innovation, more investment, but also saved energy costs that can then be spent for other purposes. That leads to altogether to more employment. In our calculations, we've seen that just by moving from a growth of energy productivity from 2% per year to 3% per year leads to additional 300,000 jobs and cuts the carbon dioxide emissions by almost 100 million tons per year. So it's really also economic thinking behind that. And this is also true for technology development. Energy efficiency is a global market. There are predictions that say that within 10 years we will see a global market potential of some more than 600 billion euro in terms of products of energy efficiency. And to come back to this slide, I think, well, in addition to the new jobs, to value creation, it's also a question of convenience, of comfort, but also of social justice. And that is also a second message to you that I found interesting, that I've learned myself in the last 5 years developing energy policy in Germany. That is, we have to try to link energy efficiency policy to other fields of policy. For instance, we have a large program in Germany, it's called Stromsparcheck, that actually, well, where unemployed people receive training, they become electricity consultants basically, and they go to other households and teach low-income households, teach them how to save energy, also bring them some energy-saving devices, and offer them microfinancing for new appliances. And by that, we not only educate unemployed people, we help low-income households to save energy, and we help the municipalities to save social benefit payings. So I think it's always important to think about energy policy also with links to the surrounding policy areas. And it's also from an individual point of view, I think, very economic. Take the example of a circulating pump, which is in every household in Germany, because we have water heating in Germany. And if you replace that, well, average circulating pump by very efficient ones that have been on the market for 3 years now, you could save all over Europe some 30 terawatt hours of electricity, which is, well, some 5% of the electricity demand in Germany. So it's really a massive potential, and that pays for the household. After 2 years, you get the investment back, and over the lifetime of the pump, you save some between, well, you save some 800 euros of money over the lifetime. So I think it is a very important measure. And how do you get there? And this leads to my sort of last point I want to make here. I think it's not very helpful to just have one policy. Other than the field of renewable energy policy, in Germany we have the Renewable Energy Act, and there really one law gives a lot of push for renewable energy development and has created a very large market. In the field of energy efficiency policy, you always have to make packages of policies, because you have various barriers. You have a lack of knowledge, a lack of involvement, you have split incentives, etc. So you have to design policies for each of the applications. And here in the field of circulating pumps, to give this example, we have, for instance, we have a labeling scheme which has been introduced a year ago. We have the Eco-Design Directive, which actually mandates that the circulating pump manufacturers have to become more efficient, and the least efficient ones are not allowed to enter the European market after some date. And we also have incentives, giving the first movers, the first people who want to apply these circulating pumps, give them financial incentives to do that. And with this package, we really, and additional training for the plumbers, for the installers, with this package we managed to go forward in the field of renewable energy policy. And I think this is actually a message that is true for all the different fields of energy policy, to address these various barriers, which I can, for time reasons, unfortunately now not go into detail, but you always have to create packages, carrots, sticks, and information together. The example of building is quite similar actually to France. We have a building regulation giving quite strict standards. We have a funding program giving allowances and low soft loans, low interest loans, which actually also pushes a lot of investment. And by the VAT and by the income tax payings, and by this additional well, sort of push for installers, the government doesn't pay for that program. They give the loans, but they get the money back through these income tax and other, for instance, well, reduced unemployment benefits they have to pay, because now we really substitute local, or we substitute payments to oil countries, to Saudi Arabia or other countries. We substitute that by local labor, and that's one of the ideas of these soft loan programs. And also we have quite a lot of energy consultancy in the field of the business. And what is, you should not neglect, we have a lot of ideas of creativity on the local level, on the state level as well. Just one example from my hometown, where a so-called energy caravan is designed, where energy consultants move from village to village. They even take a camel with them, so that the local newspapers really like that. And they go from door to door and say, would you like some advice with respect to your buildings? We can tell you how to save money in your building by retrofitting that. And this caravan has actually been very successful. And you need these local ideas. You need the always pushers, people who move that development. I'm not saying we have an answer to all the questions. We have a lot of deficits. How to address, for instance, the existing building stock. How to get additional financing mechanisms. How to increase control and enforcement of the existing regulations. We call that paper tiger, when you have a law, and that exists in English as well. If you have a law and nothing happens, so you have to think about control and enforcement. And also you have to think about the rebound effect, because we have more and more efficient TVs, more and more efficient apartments, but the number of TVs and their size is increasing, and also the average size of our buildings is increasing, which of course offsets some of the efficiency efforts. But still, I think it's a way to go, and we have also to think about ways to implement that into our policy toolbox. So to conclude, what we really have to do, and that's why I like your presentation a lot, we have to make energy efficiency visible, and that's the power cord you were showing. We have to create a label. We have to create sort of enthusiasm about energy efficiency. People are very enthusiastic in Germany about renewable energy, and we have to do the same for energy efficiency. And that's why I kind of like this. Well, it's an internet electronic equipment warehouse. It says here, have fun with energy conservation. Well, it's not very convincing, I think, the picture, but maybe we need ideas like the Swedish one to really make it happen and to really create a fun and enthusiasm also about energy efficiency. Thank you very much.